Okay, so let's get started for today. We'll begin by closing our eyes. Closing our eyes and tuning in internally for a moment. It's like we got some other folks joining. So I invite you to close your eyes, tune into how we're feeling internally, just touching in on the breath. And then feeling into our theme today. Our theme today is guidance. So seeing how this word lands with us, what it brings up, guidance. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes again. So I invite you to close your eyes. And we begin by tuning into the body, preparing to meditate. And so it's very helpful if our spine or our neck are pointed up toward the ceiling, straight. And I like to roll my shoulders back a couple times, really opening up the heart and the chest. Feet flat on the ground, palms on our lap. Also for posture, especially if we're going to meditate for quite some time, it's helpful if the hips are higher than the knees for those of us that are taller. So and we can adjust that with cushions or pillows, etc. Just a note for the future. And so after we've tuned into the body, the next step in the practice is we begin to feel our breath, our everyday breath. Just observing the everyday breath, feeling the flow of air moving into the body and back out again. Observing the breath, our emotions on the breath. Very often our everyday breath is quite shallow. And that's all right. We'll be deepening the breath in this practice. I also, if it feels comfortable, I invite you to go into what we call the air breath. So this is a breathing in and out through the mouth. So let's try that out. It's like a gentle sipping on the inhale down the neck. And then on the exhale, it's kind of like a sigh. I also invite you to put your hand on your stomach, which just kind of naturally deepens the breath. This is the healthiest way to breathe. When we watch children and babies breathe, it's mostly a stomach breathing. So kind of with every breath, deepening a little bit more to a place that's comfortable. When we're doing this breathing in and out through the mouth, you don't, it may not be comfortable to do large volumes of air. And also paying attention to the exhale. Sometimes we don't let all of the air out. There's a little anxiety there for the belly button to go all the way back to the spine on the exhale, to flex the stomach muscles on the exhale. That's the secret to a full inhale. So if you can let a little bit more air out, then it's like the inhale just happens spontaneously, or it can, like a big sigh. So just playing with that, playing with our breath until we get to a smooth, steady rhythm that's deep and comfortable. And then the next step of the practice is we continue to breathe deeply, and then we make the subject of the meditation our heart. And so just placing our attention while we're breathing on the heart center. And I invite you to put your other hand on your heart. It can be wonderful to breathe and feel our heart. You may have a sensation where the energy of the breath is inhaling and exhaling around the heart. Just really giving our hearts attention, which the heart loves. And then in heart rhythm meditation, we always seek to feel the pulsation of the heart, the heartbeat. These two fundamental functions of the body, the breath and the heartbeat, nourishes all, through all the capillaries and all the avenues in the circulation, nourish every cell of the body. So maybe getting a sense of that, the breath energizing the heart center and the sense of the heartbeat. And taking this further, we call this heart rhythm meditation. Perhaps you can develop a rhythm of heartbeats for the inhale and the exhale. We can feel this pulsation, and we get into this entrainment, this rhythm, where we feel, kind of a number of heartbeats on the inhale and pulsation the same on the exhale. And then for some of us, for myself, it took me 2 months to feel my heartbeat when I started with this practice. The steps are somewhat simple, but then can be like maybe even a lifetime to master. And so that, you can definitely, if you'd like, put your fingers on your wrist or your neck to feel the pulse, the echo of the heartbeat. Or we can just use our imagination at first. What would it feel like to feel my heartbeat? to feel that love dub and pulsation with the breath. All right, and so then we're going to go a little further into our theme of guidance with the air element. And this is a really wonderful time to ask our heart, is there an intention I have right now for guidance? Is there something that I seek, wisdom or guidance on in a deeper way? In meditation, more deeply connected to these universal energies, deeper parts of ourselves. So now we're going to go further into this journey into the air attunement in our tradition. It's really an attunement of spaciousness, of clarity, of infinite spirit. And so we begin by having the intention and using the energy of the breath to expand and contract with the breath. And so on the inhale, the intention is the energy of the breath from all directions, from all possibilities around us, come into the center toward the heart, to this kind of one-pointedness that is us, as our body. It's like we're kind of breathing in from all directions and contracting to the heart center or the heart chakra. And then as we exhale, we breathe back out in all directions, all possibilities. Really, it is almost universal. There's no end to this intention of casting, casting, widening our field in all directions. And then on the inhale, it all gathers back to the center again. And so there's this freedom with the air attunement. Whatever comes up, some anxieties of the day or different people or challenges in the future, we just give it more space. And it all accommodates in the vastness as we breathe out. And then on the inhale, everything comes back. And often the effect of this attunement is whatever our intention is, whatever we are meditating on, there's new possibilities, new avenues. We can see the situation in new different, for new perspectives. There are many wonderful qualities of the air attunement. Wisdom is a core quality of the air element. Understanding, certainly guidance, clarity, also sacredness. We live, you know, in a society where, how much is really sacred, but at the same time, in this attunement, there is nothing that is not sacred. You know, everyone has a heart, you know, deep within, there's the divine spark for all of us, no matter who they are. And then there's also this connection to spirit. These are kind of very angelic energies that form the whole universe. We can energize ourselves for this in this attunement. So in this vast contraction and expansion, kind of all of our worries just become these subtle small things in comparison. We feel more ourselves, more complete, more whole. And that is the perfect place to tune into our guidance. Perfect place to make the right decisions in life in alignment with the one. All right. So we can begin to come back from meditation, returning our breathing to the everyday breath, feeling ourselves seated in the chair, feeling our feet on the ground. And I invite you to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. So it looks like Mars A wonderful meditate. I had a great meditation. Thank you. I felt a lot of vastness in spirit. All right. So taking that in, let's close our eyes again. And then just like before, we tune into the body, making any adjustments or giving our body any attention we'd like. And then tuning back into the breath. Again, we'll be working with the air element, so breathing in and out through the mouth. If it's comfortable, you can always return to a different, your typical MO for breathing if you want to. And just like before, I invite you to put one of your hands on your belly. And just seeing if we can relax and relax into the breath, enjoy the breath. Just kind of enjoying the deepening of the breath and the balancing of the breath. We like to say that breath is life. And then just like before, I invite you to put your other hand on your chest, on your heart, over your heart, and tuning back into the heart center and the heartbeat. And, this is the familiar place, the familiar home that we go to in our practices. Whenever, we want to sort of come back to our sort of home place, our anchor in our practice. This is it, breath and heart. A sense of pulsation, a sense of the breath, and hopefully a sense of our body and the posture as well. And just like before, we'll go back to this metaphor of expansion and contraction. Ron says this is the nature of the universe, expansion and contraction. Sometimes when I'm doing the air, working with the air element, I like to think of these kind of celestial events out in space, the supernovas going out in all directions, or even the Big Bang, that started with this small little dense, infinitely dense spot and then expanded out, birthing the whole universe. So the energy just expands out in all directions and then contracts back on the inhale. And whatever comes up in the practice, we just kind of give it space. This comes up or that comes up. And we do feel it, it's not, we don't want to bypass and just sort of bliss out, but we feel what comes up, but then it's just sort of, it's like a drop in the ocean compared to this vastness. Whatever goes on in our neighborhood here on this planet and our affairs, it's compared to the great creation and all the universes. It's not with the air element, it becomes a very light load, you know. And you may even have a sensation of being held kind of here with this pulsation kind of floating along in the spaciousness in this spirit, with it being nourished with every breath at all levels, mind, body, heart, and soul. And then we'll continue to meditate to a piece of music. All right. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes.